you serious? Are you serious, folks? We've had 60 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. And of course, it all started with that 6.5 earthquake that hit off the coast of California there, just off Eureka, really, and Ferndale. And here's the deal. We've had a 4.7 in China. Let me just give you the big ones over 4. Over 4.5, how's that? 4.7 China, 4.7 California and Ferndale, that was an aftershock. Then we got hit with the big 7.8 on the Solomon Islands. Right during the live broadcast I was doing, it happened live, and the earth has been shaking and quaking, and the devil's back is breaking ever since. 5.6 Solomon Islands, 5.1 Solomon Islands, 5.0 Solomon Islands, 5.0 Solomon Islands, 4.6 Peru, 5.1 Solomon Islands, 5.2 Solomon Islands, 5.2 Chile. So the earth is shaking here. 5.2 Solomon Islands, 4.9 Solomon Islands, 5.3 Solomon Islands, 5.5 Solomon Islands. And then another major earthquake, 6.5 Solomon Islands, followed by a 5.4 Solomon Islands, 4.9 Solomon Islands, 4.9 Solomon Islands, 4.9 Solomon Islands, 5.0 Solomon Islands, 4.8 the Solomon Islands, 4.8 the Solomon Islands, 5.3, 5.1 Solomon Islands, 4.6 earthquake then hit Taiwan, 4.9, 4.8, 4.7, all three of those Solomon Islands. A 4.3 hit Chile, a 4.7 hit the Solomon Islands. We also had a 4.0 in the Dominican Republic. We had a 4.4 in the Northern Mariana Islands. Then it was 5.1, 5.0, 4.8, 5.5, 5.2, all in the Solomon Islands. Reeling and rocking over there. 4.7 Indonesia, 5.1 El Salvador, 5.2 Solomon Islands, 4.4 Croatia, 4.7 Northern Mariana Islands, 5.0, 4.7, 4.9 just a few minutes ago, very shallow Solomon Islands. 60 earthquakes, 61 earthquakes actually in the last 24 hours. It's still not over. The solar winds are 619 kilometers per second. That's twice the normal speed. That pressure is it's earth facing because the coronal is such a huge coronal hole. There's nothing blocking these solar winds that are releasing these powerful CMEs, and they're coming directly at the earth, hitting us, applying tons of pressure, causing earthquakes, and still shaking and quaking. Tectonic plates are breaking. The devil's back is aching. And folks, I'm not faking. It's unbelievable what's going on here around the world. Don't miss today's live broadcast. Starts at 12 noon Eastern. 12 noon Eastern live. BP Earthwatch will be my guest. We might even have Mike around the world because the 5 waves of energy. That's coming from the opposite side of pressure coming on the earth than what we're getting from the sun. So we're getting pressure from the sun. The earth is shaking and quaking, reeling and rocking like a drunken man, which is exactly what Isaiah 24 said would happen. And the 5 waves of energy, wave number 2, coming from the opposite direction. So here's the earth. The earth is getting bombarded from the CMEs at twice the speed, reeling and rocking and shaking and quaking. And on the other side, here comes the second wave of energy, due to make impact December 26th and continue to put pressure on the earth for 100 days after that. Is this the perfect storm? Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. Get some coffee. Calm down. I'm going to drink some California coffee and calm down. Jesus is coming soon. Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, guys, now you know that there's an asteroid coming Wednesday, it's going to come very close to the Earth, a near-Earth object, according to NASA, just discovered. They're calling it 2017 BX. It's 30 feet in diameter. It's 10 meters in diameter, and it's going to go whizzing by the Earth on Wednesday. You haven't heard anything about it, but check it out. I'll put the link below at spaceweather.com. They right on the chart. There it is. Also, today, we have a huge coronal hole turns toward the Earth from the sun. This hole is opened in the sun's atmosphere, and it is spewing a stream of solar wind into space. An extreme ultraviolet telescope on board NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory has captured the photograph of it on the Earth today, on this January 23rd. This is a coronal hole, a region in the sun's atmosphere where the magnetic field opens up and allows solar wind to escape. It is Earth-facing, folks, and this very gassy filled stream of gamma rays and ultraviolet rays and radiation is streaming right toward us. That means we're going to feel a lot of pressure on the planet, which could create, of course, major earthquakes and tsunamis or volcanic eruptions or power outages in some cases. But normally, power outages come from the solar flares. These are, of course, solar winds or a solar stream coming through the sun's atmosphere that has a mega hole in it, allowing it to flow right toward us. Earth-facing puts pressure on us, and we're going to continue to keep a close eye on this, because in the next 24 to 48 hours, you may begin to see earthquakes popping up in different locations, which could be very, very dangerous and damaging. I'm checking right now, just so you'll know, in the last few hours. Of course, we had that 7.9 earthquake that hit Saturday night down in Papua New Guinea. But just in the last few hours, we have had a 5.1 earthquake in the northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a 4.5 in Alaska, a 4.3 in Pakistan, a 4.4 in Chile, and we just had a 4.7 in the Solomon Islands. And this, of course, the pressure just building, but the solar streams from this huge hole in the sun has not reached us yet. Okay, so in the next 24 to 48 hours, even 72 hours, let's say, give yourself 3 days to allow this pressure to build. We'll see exactly what is going to take place from this major coronal hole in the atmosphere of the sun. And oh, by the way, the radiation levels, which you don't see, are still spiking on this planet from 2 directions. The solar minimum that the sun is in, releasing its gamma rays of radiation from the sun, and the 5 waves of energy. As wave number 2, we're in the middle of this, well, not in the middle, but we're now into the thrust of this second wave of energy, and it's really, really spiking the radiation levels off the charts. Last year alone, we had a 12.5 increase in radiation from the year before, off the charts. Normally, I mean, it's either the same, less, no more than a 1% ever. 12.5, and the second wave of energy is now pounding us to right now this year. So keep an eye on it, folks. We'll keep a close eye on it. We don't know. We're living in times we never thought we'd ever see. But it's all matching the biblical prophecy. You start talking about the asteroids whizzing by, the sun. The Bible said there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, and men's hearts will fail them for fear, for looking after those things that are coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to come to pass, he said, look up, lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're living, folks, certainly in the last days. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. Don't be left behind.